Today we'll be making a Japanese egg sandwich called Tamago Sando. Today we're going to be making a Japanese egg sandwich called Tamago Sando. Here are the ingredients for our recipe. We're going to need 15 hard-boiled eggs, half a cup of Kewpie, which is that Japanese mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of heavy cream, a pinch of salt and a pinch of sugar, white bread, and butter at room temperature. So what we have here is we cut the eggs in half and we separated the yolk from the whites. So we're going to start off with our yolk. We're going to be adding in about half a cup of Japanese mayo. If you don't have Japanese mayo, you can use regular mayonnaise, but I highly suggest using the Japanese one instead because it has a slightly different taste and flavor compared to the regular mayonnaise that you buy in the store. So we get our Japanese mayonnaise, that's about half a cup. Let's start with just half a cup for now. We can always add in more later. 1 to 2 tablespoons of heavy cream, a pinch of salt, and a pinch of sugar. We don't want to add in too much sugar. You don't want it too sweet. You just want to add in more flavor than just the eggs. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use a potato masher to mix everything together. If you don't have a potato masher, you can use a food processor, or you can use, if you don't have that, you can also use the back of the fork. This should have a nice creamy consistency, so you can add in more mayonnaise as you go. Also, you don't want to put too much mayonnaise because you don't want it too runny. Also, this Kewpie or Japanese mayo, you can easily find this in some American stores. If not, you'll surely find one in the Asian market. There you go, that should be good enough. You don't want it too runny. So just pretty much a nice thick mashed potato consistency. Now we're going to be working on our egg whites. So on the egg whites, we're going to be crushing them just like what we did with the egg yolks. So we crushed our egg whites. I did not add anything on this. Now we're going to be adding our egg whites to our egg yolk mixture. Now let's just fold until they're well combined. If it's a little too thick, just add in more mayo. Remember, it's better to just add items later, like mayo, than putting too much in the beginning where it's going to get too soggy, then you can't take it back. So again, if you ask, can I use regular mayonnaise? Of course you can, but the thing is, Japanese mayo has a different flavor to it. That's what makes this recipe unique. Just toss it around until it's well combined. See, just about like that. That's perfect like that. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to be putting in our bread. So we finished mixing our egg whites and egg yolk. So you want it creamy, but not too runny. So this is perfect. Now we're going to be adding butter to our bread. Now this is an important part because this dish is prone to getting spoiled, so we need to keep it cold. That means you got to keep it refrigerated. And of course, if you keep it refrigerated, it's going to get soggy. So the butter is going to help create like a barrier to protect it from getting soggy from the egg mixture. So I'm just gonna butter all this bread and we'll be right back. So we buttered our bread. Now we're gonna be putting in our egg mixture. Try to use about 2 scoops because you want this to kind of like to stick out more than just the bread. Again, the butter is kind of important part for this because it helps give that protective cover to keep the bread from getting soggy. So now we're just gonna slightly spread it around our bread. And then when you put the top half of the bread, try not to push down too much. So just like that. Cover. And for me, this is done. But you know, some of the stores when they sell these breads, they don't have the crust on it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the crust. It is also important when you're slicing the bread or removing the crust to wipe the blade or the knife every time you cut, so it doesn't make a mess. So the crust we're removing, you don't throw that away. You can just eat that on the side. Remember to always wipe the blade every time you cut. So here's our sandwich. You can cut in any ways, you know, in rectangles or in triangles, but it has a nice presentation. So again, try not to put too much mayo so you don't want it too runny. I think I put a little too much because it's starting to kind of like ooze out. But you know, you can add in, you can always add in more mayonnaise at the end. So try not to overdo it with the mayonnaise. Again, the key here is the Kewpie mayonnaise, which is the Japanese mayonnaise. So also don't forget to keep this chilled, keep it in the fridge, and that butter should help protect it from getting too soggy. All right, and I hope you enjoyed today's recipe, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.